Hey friends, it is 5 Minute Fridays with Vince. You guys know I love doing this with you. This is my opportunity to segue from your work week to your weekend, get your mind shifted. For those of you, if you're joining me for the first time, I am V Gord on all social media. I love talking to you guys. This is my opportunity to help you kind of mentally prepare yourself for Sunday. Sunday's my exciting. I love Sundays. I love the gathering of the body together and us getting together and giving God glory. But right now, I call this one "Get the Point." And if you look at my story that I reposted earlier today, it's a lesson about a pencil. One of these. I'm quite sure you've filled somebody's book bag very recently with back to school supplies with one of these. If you remember far enough back, standardized testing, we used to have the number 2 pencils so we could be able to fill out the little bubbles on the Scantron for your SAT or the ASVAB or whatever you were taking. And so the lesson from the pencil, well, there were 4 points that came from the lesson. The first part is, every pencil, of course, requires to be sharpened, and the process that it takes in order to be used. If you've ever had a dull pencil or ever worked it down to the place to where the lead was past the wood point, in order for you to be able to expose the lead, it has to be sharpened. When you first get it, it first must be sharpened so that you can use it. And if you can only imagine what that feels like for the pencil to have to go through that process over and over. But the idea is that at some point of our lives, in order for us to stay usable, to stay cognizant, relevant, we've got to be sharpened. There's some things that we have to go through that require us to sharpen our skills, to stay current, stay focused, to make sure that we don't miss what God is doing in the moment, in the right now. And sometimes it's going to rub us the wrong way. Sometimes it's going to hurt, it's going to cut, it's going to shave us low, it's going to grind us down, but it sharpens us and brings us to a point. Which brings me to the next part, which is the eraser. The eraser is often for us to be able to erase or to get rid of our mistakes. But what if I tell you that your mistakes are not mistakes at all, but rather they're lessons? Because if you learn from them, they can become teaching tools. I always say that obedience is the best teacher. Experience is the teacher that shows up when your obedience is sick. Then the next part about this pencil is you have to understand that the greatest part about it is that every time that you use it to leave a mark. And that as you go through life, you're leaving marks, whether it is depositing into someone else's life, whether it is shaping or framing out what your story is. The part that I wanted to add to this lesson, I'll show you in just a second, is the fact that you need to understand that the scripture says that God is the author and the finisher of our faith. Let me fold this so you can see it. He's the author and the finisher of our faith, which means he writes the portions of our story so that we can begin to fill in the blanks. And if you're not sharpened, if you don't go through the process, if you don't begin to align and declare some things over yourself, you will be whatever you speak over yourself. You will become whatever you declare. And so if you say, you're sick, if you say you're broken, guess what? You'll be that. Scripture says you'll have whatsoever you say. But what if I learn from my lesson? What if I learn that my words are so powerful that I have to be careful about what I speak, and that when I speak, I have to be intentional, because every word can be used against me in the court of life. Listen, the enemy doesn't care how he gets tools to use against you. Sometimes he'll use your own words and your own authority against you if you're not careful. So be careful about your words so that when you use your experiences that have sharpened you to a place to where you can make a mark, I encourage you, fill in the blanks of your life that God has given you, because watch this, he's given you free will. He's allowed you to be able to fill in the blank with whatever you want to fill it in with. But when you start saying something different, it says strong. Your experiences grind you down to a place to where you can pinpoint exactly the direction that you're going, which brings me to my last point, which is you are not what's on the outside, but you are absolutely everything that's on the inside. The outside just holds together what's necessary, but the inside is the part that makes the difference. It's this inside, it's this lead that literally can frame the story, that can change a life, that can draw a piece of artwork, that can create something beautiful. So I encourage you, listen, man, use your pencil wisely, or I'm sorry, your life. Use your life wisely. Let the experience that you've gone through bring you to a point so you can make a point. And when you make a point, make sure it's a point that's pointing people in the right direction. Listen, it's 5 Minute Fridays with Vince. I love you guys. Did you enjoy this one? If you did, like it, share it. I encourage you. Also, listen, next Sunday on the 21st, if you want to, I encourage you, join me at the theater in North Lake Mall. It is called the Movie Tavern. At 10 a.m. we're going to join there and we're going to have a blockbuster Bible study. Right now our church building is currently in repairs, so we're not able to be in the building, so we've been doing live streams and we've been being online. But on that Sunday, instead of just being online, we're going to be in a building. We're going to go to the movie theater. We're going to have a blockbuster Bible study. We're going to go check out Thor: Love and Thunder, because I want to talk to you about some points that are inside of that movie that I feel like they're really great talking points for us to begin to learn how to effectively share the gospel. Because, you know, guys, I always like for us to be able to see Christ in everything. So if we get the opportunity to see Christ in the middle of an experience, if we can see Christ in the middle of a struggle, man, if we can show people how to find Christ in the middle of a blockbuster movie, why not? So I encourage you, find me next Sunday at 10 a.m. at North Lake Mall at the theater. It's called, I think it's called Marcus Theaters. It's the Movie Tavern at North Lake, 10 a.m. I'd love to see you guys there on August the 21st. Meanwhile, love you guys. I'm going to get out of here. Listen, get the point. Talk to you later. Bye.